Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Musical People and Journeys Rock Album Reviews. I am your host, Nigel Matthews, and welcome to my gang for the day, Ian, Dave, and Trish. Welcome, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Wow, we're here for another album review, another battle of the bands, another battle of the albums. Who are we gonna buy today, and who's up there today? And not just who we're gonna buy, but we're gonna rate them out of 5, and they could well end up potentially into our Hall of Fame. And where will they end up into our overall chart toppings? We're approaching the 200 mark of album reviews that we've done over the last couple of years. So, who is up today? Well, in the blue corner we have Katatonia, and in the red corner, I kind of want to say yellow from where these bands originate from. I'm going to go for the yellow one. Blue corner for Katatonia, yellow corner for Electric Bob. Okay, so let's start then with Katatonia, not to be confused, the Welsh mob, as we just said. Okay, so Katatonia and their album Sky Void of Stars. So, who the heck are Katatonia? Well, let me tell you who they are, if I can possibly find my notes, which I just had. Katatonia are a Swedish shock of shocks heavy metal band formed in Stockholm in 1991 by Jonas Renski and Anders Nyström. The band started as a studio-only project for the duo as an outlet for the band's love of death metal. Increasing popularity led them to add more members for live performances. So outside of the band founders, the lineup was constantly changing, revolving doors of musicians to the 90s, notably Mikael Ackerfeldt of the band Opeth for a period, and after 2 death doom albums, Dance of Souls and Brave Murder, problems with Renski's vocal cords coupled with new musical influence led the band away from scream vocals of death metal to the more traditional and melodic form of heavy metal music. Right, Trish, then, melodic, I mean, this has got to be your cup of tea, really, isn't it? Melodic heavy metal. Would you describe Katatonia as melodic heavy metal? No. How would you describe them then, Trish? Talk to me.
Well, I'd never heard of them, so I had to Google them. And it came up that they're a band that peddle all things doom and gloom, gothic rock. So I had a bit of trepidation, understandably, knowing my musical taste. However, the opener, Austerity, wasn't what I was expecting, and I was pleasantly surprised. I think because they were classed as doom and gloom, that's what I was expecting the music to be, the same as the lyrics and not upbeat. Followed by Colossal Shards, which hooked me in with its beating drums and guitars. My favourite track was Opaline, I think is how you pronounce it. I actually found the rest of the album interestingly mesmerising up until track 10. Then the album lost me.
Track 10, how many tracks there were? I mean, that's right towards the album, isn't it?
But then after that, it lost me.
Okay.
I lost my interest.
Okay. Ian, Katatonia?
Yeah, I think the album's got 11 tracks. There's a very, very quick count there. And the 11th is a bonus track. So yes, absolutely. As you said earlier, Keris Matthews' voice has definitely changed. All this is a different band, 100%. So I'm going to talk you through what I thought as I listened to the album first time. Easily forgettable. Lost interest quickly. It's kind of like looking at the sky without stars. And the album's called Sky Void of Stars. So it's kind of, when you see the stars, you look up there for ages. You're mesmerised. What's going on? And it's when it's just dark, too much light or cloud, just nothing going on there. Then the album started going on, and like Trish, Opaline, whatever it is, an author, I thought, wow, this is really interesting. There's a lot of talent coming through here. And the vocals were so clear and strong in it. And that was really good. They obviously used some really good equipment. They got a good recording facility, really good setup. I thought that it just rose. It was kind of like proving bread. You start off with that little dome. Once it sits there and rises, and that's where the bread is going to be good or not. And I thought this album proved itself and improved as well throughout the way. And absolutely love the songs Impermanence and Solera. They for me were just the standout tracks on the album. Absolutely loved them. So I really liked it because it just took you on a journey of, oh, I'm feeling quite flat, I want to listen to a good album. The music stakes you there, and then you start to grow with it. Came out at the end. I will agree with the last couple of tracks. They were a bit of a shame. It'd be great if that was just tweaked to really get that big finish. But that's not taking anything away from the fact I've massively enjoyed growing with this album. And then the second and third time listening, enjoyed that journey all over again.
Dave!
Yeah.
Katatonia, talk to me, mate. Surely your cup of tea. Surely.
Nah, for me, this is it's just so safe. It's untrue. I mean, this is. I've said it before. Very sort of paint by numbers approach to making an album. It's just it is what it is. It's not really doesn't make you think. It's got nothing in there that really sort of interested me. There was no real sort of difference in there. I felt it was all sort of fairly bland, fairly one sort of style, and that was really it, really. One thought I had was, this is what would happen if you had health and safety come in and sort of take a look at a rock band. They take all the sharp edges off, anything that's of any interest that might, give you any sort of enjoyment, and this is what you're left with, really. It just didn't do it for me at all.
Can we have a moment just to really appreciate that?
keep coming up with anecdotes like that. That was probably the 2 years I've known you, Dave, the best that you have said. It's like a health and safety. Just take out.
I'm just going to go and get my high vis. Hold on.
Just take out the.
Well, there's
I get it.
The album's called Sky Void of Stars. It's void of any fun, is what it is.
Oh, Dave, you busted my intercostals. Literally, my ribs are hurting.
That's got to be the best line in the 2 years we've done it. I love it. It's like health and safety. No, take that out. Dangerous. Take it out. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, fantastic.
That guitar riff's far too enjoyable.
Yeah, that's right. How dare you put it in there? Oh, brilliant. Well, as behind me, you see a sky with a star in it, and it's not void of stars, and it's really interesting, isn't it? That background is very, very interesting, and that's the problem with this album. And I laugh because I think you just summed it up. Spot on, really. I think this album is just distinctly average, and it's just. Oh, it's a shame because I think there is something there, and I think they've gone. I celebrate the fact they didn't do his vocal cords, and maybe because of his vocal cords, he can't really push it that high there. Maybe he has to play it safe, and that's how it felt. It felt there was some nice moments in there. There are some cool moments in there, but it's gone like that, a little bit of a peak, and then kind of dipped again, and it was just it wasn't an album. It was very forgettable. I mean, we talked about in a previous show a brand new album by a band called Arctic Rain in their album Unity, and we talked about if you're going to play in this space, you have to be. There's a lot of bands playing in this space, a lot. Let's be honest about it, and a lot better bands from Sweden playing in this space, and it just didn't take off. It just and no wonder it didn't take off because they were flying into a sky that had nothing up there. And that's how the album felt to me. It was devoid of anything dangerous. And looking at their background and where they've come from, it doesn't make sense, really, does it? Go back to your roots a little bit. And I like an album that punches me in the face and then soothes me down, and punches me in the face again and soothes me down. We were talking about that on a previous, we talked about our current new our new album of our top of Hall of Fame, a band called Beyond the Black, which we reviewed on another show. That's now top of our Hall of Fame, and it does exactly that. It comes and punches you in the face, and then sues you down, and punches you in the face again, and this just didn't. But anyway, let's find out. They could still win this battle, because they're up against a band called Electric Mob and their brand new album, To Make You Cry and Dance. Did they make us cry and dance? Who are Electric Mob? And now, we talked about in a previous show a Polish band, and for the first time ever, I'm going to be saying, and we reviewed an Indian band that's been signed by Frontier Records, and so it's a month of something new, because this band was formed in Curitiba, Brazil, by Rena Zenta vocals, Ben Hur, love the name, Ben Hur, Our Water, guitar, Yuri Alero, bass, Andre Lister for drums. Electric Mob caught the attention of Frontiers. And so I tell you, Frontiers are branching out. They're looking at subcontinent sort of stuff and bringing out some of the best out there. Or are they? With their tremendous hard rock songs, they show influence of contemporary hard rock giants, while also showing a knowledge of the hard rock pillars of 70s and 80s. Electric Mob is comprised from young, hungry, and extremely talented musicians with a rock and roll attitude to deliver their explosive performances like a sonic punch to the face. Their songs bring a heavy sound with a distinctive groove. Think Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses mixed with Audio Slave with a bluesy touch on top, and you are getting close to the band's sound. Really? Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. Let's go to Trish then, and let's start with you then, Trish. Was it a sonic punch, Trish?
Bam, straight in there with a belter. The slow building Sun Is Falling. It then hits with a thump. The ferocious vocalist with a huge range and outstanding tone. This album reflects on the overwhelming loss and frustrations the band experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic. The loss of loved ones and friends, and not being able to perform for over 2 years. You can tell their experiences and feelings come through in the music. The album is a journey that takes you on a rock and roll trip. You will definitely want to add this to your collection. I certainly did. I'm in rock and roll sweet spot heaven.
Ooh. Now, Ian, you are, as we know, somebody who does like to cry and does like to dance. So this, I mean, there's no denying it. There's too many. So did this want to make you cry and did this want to make you dance? Ian?
I'd just like to start by telling you a little tiny story about what happened a few weeks ago. Went to see the Choir of Man in London, and I got pulled up on stage. So I have sung on a West End stage. That made me want to cry, made me want to dance. Amazing. This album didn't make me want to cry, didn't make me want to dance.
Oh.
Didn't make me want to do anything but turn it off.
Oh.
I'm absolutely, I really thought, when I first put it on, I thought, there's going to be something here, and it just didn't ignite. It was just repetitive. I didn't find it interesting, and I couldn't wait to turn it off. It just didn't float my boat at all. And Frontier have, like you said, it was quite interesting. You mentioned like Guns N' Roses and Audio Slave at the beginning. And I'm like, I've listened to the wrong album then, clearly, if that's the comparisons. But it just didn't float my boat. I don't think it was bad, just didn't float my boat at all. Just couldn't get into it.
Wow,
so,
I was expecting you to like this album, but there we go. Yeah. You never know, do you? You never know. Talking about never not knowing, Dave, then, Guns N' Roses influence, surely.
I'm wondering if Ian has listened to the wrong album, because I've got written down here, if you can't get any enjoyment out of this, then you clearly don't like rock music. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. Great vocals, awesome guitar riffs. I had the air guitar out for most of this album. It's just it's not top albums out there. It's solid, but it's great fun. It's just a very, very solid hard rock album. I mean, as I say, if you can't get enjoyment out of this, then
your soul is dead. Your soul is dead, Ian.
Yeah, it's gone. Too much musicals. That's what it is.
I know, right? You had your moment in the glory. You went, nobody's taking my glory now.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking my glory now. So, well, I've got to. So, what did you do on stage? Did they just get a bunch of people up and sing or something?
Yeah. I'm not going to give spoilers because absolutely everyone should go see it. It's fantastic. But yeah, they get you along, get you up, and they do something. They get a couple of audience members up. They do something with it. It's not embarrassing. So if you're worried about getting shown up, that's not a thing at all.
I don't think we'll ever worry about getting embarrassed.
Along.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing. And it's the same stage that Six used to be on. So I'm even more happy about that. That's amazing. Definitely.
Yeah, mate. If you did not enjoy this album, your soul is dead, and you are dead to me. This was a belter of an album.
He has had a chest infection.
He has,
might have
hasn't he?
impaired his brain.
This is a belter of an album, an absolute belter. I mean, yeah, not groundbreaking, but oh my god, the riffs, the guitars, the vocals, it's an absolute cracker of an album. Cracker. And I want to hear more. I got to put them up there with some of the really good reviews that we've done. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, and we come to the one. I suppose the only thing for me is it wasn't. There was a lot of influences in there for Guns N' Roses and AC/DC, but with their own style to it. There's no two ways about that. Their own style onto it. But I mean, did they bring anything new? Probably not. But the thing is, if you're gonna come and play this sort of music and compete against other bands, you've got to be good, and you've got to be energy, the vocals, the production. You've got to be good, and this ticked all of those boxes. And I mean, for me, things like By the Name and Four Letters stood out. It did vary up. There was some ballads in there, because to be honest with you, the first, I kind of go with you, Ian, to a point where, 4 tracks in, you're going, well, this is going to be the same thing right away through. But then it does kind of vary up. I liken it to things like Goodbye June when we rated those guys. And the first 4 tracks, you're going, oh God, is this going to be just another AC/DC wannabe? But you knew there was a bit of edge to it. And then it seemed to take onto their own style. And I felt that through the album, that they added more and more of their own style to it. And they did vary up. They did vary up, and I thought it was it grew on me from that perspective as well. And what a belter of an album. Ian, go back to the drawing board, listen to it again, because you must be missing something, mate. Honestly, but knowing, and I say that not to challenge your perspective, only because I know your love of your style of music. So I am genuinely surprised that you didn't particularly like this, but.
To be honest, I have listened to it this week and I felt rubbish, so that may well have influenced. So
I think you've got to have the energy to listen to it.
With all of you being so enthusiastic about it, and to be honest with you, no disrespect to you or Trish, but with Dave being so enthusiastic about it, and we've got very, very different things. I'm like, yes.
I am insulted. If Dave thinks it's good, it's all right. If Trish and I think it's good,
no. Me, you and Trish have got fairly similar tastes, but Dave is a little bit edgy and different. So with that on top of yours,
I don't think I've ever been called edgy before.
Well,
I'll be interested to hear Chris's scores for this as well, as he's not able to join us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what then. Let's get to the voting, and let's start with Chris, shall we? Let's start with Chris then, and which album is going to win? I think I might know, based on what we've just said, but anyway. So Chris started off with Katatonia as a 2, and Electric Mob as a 3. And as we all know, that's a pretty solid score from Chris. Okay, so Trish then, Katatonia.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5, and Electric Mob. Sonic Bomb, Sonic Boom in your face, 5 out of 5. Okay, Dave, let's get your votes for Katatonia.
1.5.
1.5. And Electric Mob.
4.5.
4.5. Wowzers. Ian, let's get your scores then. Katatonia.
4.
4. Wow.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And Electric Mob.
I gave 2.
Katatonia 2.5 for me, distinctly average, and Electric Mob 4.5 for me as well. For Electric Mob, absolutely stunning. So, will any of them get into our Hall of Fame? Will they get into our top 100? Will they, or will they end up with sub 10 and into the echelons of nothing? Anyway, I don't think that's going to happen to either of these albums. Let's start off then. Katatonia, so 5.5, 7.5, 8, 9, and Ian tipping in with a 4 gives it 13, which, despite our, gives us slightly above average. It's 12.5 is the average, so they're above average. Going to be possibly top 100. It's going to be close on that score. Electric Mob 9.5, 12.5. 12.5, 13, 17, 19. 19. Yes, sad. So it's certainly going to be in our top 50 albums. I thought it was going to be a Hall of Famer. I thought with this lot, I thought Dave was going to love it. I knew you, Trish, were going to love it. I thought Ian, I knew Chris was going to be a sourpuss because he always is. But you know, I genuinely thought Ian was going to like this album. But so close, and yet so far. But it's got to be something special for all 5 to get into that Hall of Fame. So check out our Hall of Fame and our top albums of 2023 so far. It's going to come along the bottom. Thank you very much. Please, if you enjoy our album reviews, please like and subscribe. Please go to our Facebook group. We're posting stuff up all the time, and checking out everything else as well. So
I think I like being challenged by stuff I don't normally like. But interestingly, I've just been challenged by apparently something I do like. So I will go back and listen again.
Definitely. But too late now. The scores are locked and loaded. We don't change our scores from the show on that score. But I certainly want to see them if they ever come to the UK and rocking out. But anyway, in the meantime, thank you very much for everyone for joining us. Thank you to my gang, Ian, Dave, and Trish.
Thank you.
And I'm your host, Nigel.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Keep rocking out there, and please keep safe. And thanks very much for joining us. Goodbye.